Hello, good morning, all of you. This is Shobhi Goswami, co-founder of APAC News Network. I welcome you all at the inaugural session of National Cloud and Cybersecurity Summit, organized by APAC News Network and hosted by Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh and MPSeDC. Today, throughout the day, we'll be delving upon various aspects of cybersecurity and cloud security, both for governance sector and enterprise sector. What are the challenges, what is the road ahead, and how we all can come together to brainstorm to make that blueprint for the future to move in the right direction. So without taking much time for the inaugural session, let me invite Sri Abhijit Agarwal, IAS Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh State Electronics Development Corporation, MPSeDC, to come on stage, please. He's also the program chair for this prestigious conclave. We welcome you, sir. We also invite Mr. Amit Sharma, ADG and Advisor Cyber, Ministry of Defense, Government of India, who will be delivering key speaker address. We welcome you, sir. Please come on stage. A huge round of applause for him, please. We also invite the keynote speaker for this session, a very senior IPS officer, Mr. Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police. We welcome you, sir. Please come on stage. A huge round of applause for him. I've been told that Sri Nikunj Kumar Srivastava, IAS Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh, he is on his way and he'll be joining us shortly. I request Sanghamitra Mohanty, one of the co-founders of APAC News Network, to come on stage and kindly hand over a plan, because we believe in sustainability, to all our esteemed speakers. The theme of the inaugural session is Changing Landscape of Cloud and Cybersecurity. Time to make innovative policies to create effective strategies through collaboration and leadership. And throughout the day, we'll be trying to find answers how to make those collaboration and leadership. Sanghamitra Mohanty, if you can please come on stage, please. To Sri Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police. To Sri Amit Sharma, ADG and Advisor Cyber, Ministry of Defense, Government of India. To Sri Abhijit Agarwal, Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh State Electronics Development Corporation. Without his support and his team's support, this event would not have taken place today. Thank you so much, sir, and your team. Before I call Sri Abhijit Agarwal, let me just give you a perspective on why we are doing this conference. We all know that India is riding high on digital transformation, and we talk about digital transformation, we have to keep in mind in the threats. It comes from the X factors or the not so good factors who are continuously trying to disrupt the situation through their cyber crimes. I was reading that last year, Government of India presented it in Parliament. The figure was almost 14 lakh incidents have taken place in India, which has been reported to certain. That is a huge number. And the annual cost of cyber security damage stands at $6 trillion US dollars annually. So you can think of the magnitude of this threat. And that's why this event has been organized today, to brainstorm and to hear from experts that what are the challenges, how those challenges can be overcome with various policies. All stakeholders have to come together. Gone are those days of when we work as silos. So we have to come together, we have to forge partnership and collaboration to move in the right direction. And that's why the National Cloud and Cybersecurity Summit has been organized in the beautiful city of Bhopal in support of Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh and MPSeDC. We thank all of you for joining us today. With this, I'd like to invite Sri Abhijit Agarwal, IAS Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh State Electronics Development Corporation, to give his welcome address. A huge round of applause for him, please.
Thank you, and very warm good morning to all of you. I would like to first thank APAC for accepting our request to host such a conference in Bhopal. And I remember way back, some few months back, we had announced that we will have one conference on cyber security in Bhopal. And they have curated this very beautiful conference for a day. And we wanted it to be slightly more longer, but due to constraints, we limited to one day. So I would like to welcome all the participants, my co-chair, Shri Anil Pratham sir, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police, Shri Amit Sharma sir, ADG and Advisor Cyber Defense Ministry, Government of India. Nikunj sir will be joining very shortly with us. All the members from government departments, senior officials from Government of MP, participants and speakers from, sir has just come, and importantly, the industry partners. Cyber security is one of the very important area for which we feel that this is an important intervention area for all the state entities, departments, and we'll also talk about Data Protection and Data Privacy Act, which has recently been passed by the Parliament. So this one-day workshop will educate us, will train us, and will guide us how to go in the area of cybersecurity in the times to come. We all will be learning a lot from different speakers who have come from different industry and from the government entities. So once again, I welcome you all to the city of Bhopal, and after this session, please take out some time to move around the Bhopal and maybe places nearby. Bhopal is a very picturesque and nice city. So from the Government Department of Science and Technology and MPSeDC, I would like to welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sri Abhijit Agarwal, for officially welcoming all the esteemed guests who have come from various parts of the country, and also some of the speakers will be joining us virtually from abroad today also during the course of the day. We are joined by Sri Nikunj Kumar Srivastav, IAS Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh. I request you, sir, if you can kindly come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for you. I request Sangamitra Mohanty to come on stage and kindly hand over a plant to Nikunj Kumar Srivastav, sir, please. A huge round of applause for him, please. I think it's the right time for sir to come inside the hall because it's his turn to deliver a speech. So I request Sri Nikunj Kumar Srivastav to deliver a special address on this conference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you APAC, and thank you MPSeDC for hosting such a beautiful workshop. And I know that we have time constraints, and we have a few very distinguished speakers, and we all are very keen to listen to these speakers. So I'll not take much time. So welcome to Bhopal and this conference. Cybersecurity is a very, very critical topic today, and this is something that it's no more a news item. It's happening with us, and most of us have experienced some way or other in our organizations. And after the enactment of the DP Act, the statutory obligation of the organization has become even more onerous. The use of cloud has also become very popular in these days, given the advantages of the cloud because of its scalability, the cost effectiveness, and the accessibility, the value-added services. So, in this background, I would like to say that this topic is very, very relevant. At many places, we are not giving this topic the adequate importance that it deserves. Um, I really, when I looked at the list of the speakers, I really regret that we're not able to give adequate time to all these speakers. Uh, Probably we should have planned a two-day conference so that we could have given, sufficient slot. There's so much of knowledge that that the speakers would be keen to share. I once again congratulate uh, APAC News Network, led by Sanghmitra so far I know for this conference, my officers, Abhijit, Aditya, KL and the entire MPSeDC team and the team of APAC News Network for making efforts to invite the speakers to organize this conference. I hope all of you have a wonderful stay, and as Abhijit mentioned, it's a very beautiful city, it's a picturesque place, and there are some very good sightseeing places nearby like Sanchi, Bhimbetka, and Tribal Museum is one museum I will recommend that all of you, it's very much in the city. I will recommend that all of you must visit that place, and you all have a great stay, and if you need any help in terms of the hospitality, we are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sri Nikunj Kumar Srivastav, IS Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh. Just to inform you, sir, and everybody present here today, we are joined by at least 20-25 plus speakers across India from 3-4 states like Gujarat, Telangana, Maharashtra, Karnataka also, and some of the leading PSUs of the country like NTPC, Indian Oil, AIMS. Their cybersecurity experts are here with us today. Also from Government of India, NIC, Digital India Bhashini and Ministry of Defense, all are here. And of course, the industry partners are also here because until unless we have that collaboration between government and industry, something fruitful cannot happen, cannot take place in future. So with this, I'd like to invite Sri Amit Sharma, ADG and Advisor Cyber, Minister of Defense, Government of India, to deliver his key speaker address. A huge round of applause for him, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must express my gratitude to the organizers for this profound conference, and most importantly, the topics of the conference are quite relevant. In fact, intermixing them further increases the relevance aspect because cloud and cybersecurity is something that whether we like it or not, our nation is gonna face in the next couple of decades, if not now itself. If you see, ladies and gentlemen, last couple of decades have seen a phenomenal growth in the way in which digitization has happened. This was further exacerbated in the COVID reign. The key part that worked out was that the classical modes in which we used to operate, it started changing. We used to work in more physical form, things moved more to the virtual form. We had security paradigms which were primarily parameter-centric or parameter-secured based systems. We moved to an aspect where the parameters and the boundaries evolved, it intermingled, it moved away to such an aspect that there is no parameter as of now. We worked on a scenario where the collaborative platforms migrated from mere video conferencing to joint workmanship onto the digital platforms, and then subsequently provisioning of this data across to the public system, of course in the business aspects also, but primarily in the public domain, again through web. But what was the key aspect that changed everything? And it was especially, I believe that two aspects have helped this country in digitization. One is definitely, the geo revolution, and you had internet almost even with every nook and corner in the society. The other one is COVID. Now, COVID essentially forced us to move out of our existing stringent thought processes where things were in control to a scenario which were more cohesive, more elaborative, much more intrinsic, and much more in depth, touching almost every aspect of society. And that changed things. One of the key aspects that was learned by the government was dependence on cloud services as well as digital services, of course, through cloud and so on. But these digital services, of course, the CoWIN app and the Aadhaar was already there. And there were a whole lot of other things that were there. But what changed? The things that changed was the application of technology and the scale at which this technology increased. Because right now you are not talking about some people who were just using these digital services as just a mere, kind of a convenient tool to an aspect where these digital services move to mandatory aspect onto the digital platform. This particular aspect was further exacerbated, especially in the way in which demonetization and other aspects came into the economy, and essentially what you saw, India being the largest, digital transaction-based country globally. If you see MPCI data, it's phenomenal. You don't see these kind of things even in most of the developed countries like US and so on. And that's phenomenally changed. So what has happened? We have changed as a society as a whole. Informationization of society is what has happened. And as this informationization is happening, one of the key challenges is the cybersecurity aspect of it or the threats that are blooming into it. Let's have a look at what threats we are talking about. The threats range from non-state actors to state actors, and then of course there is an aspect called as quasi-state actors. If you convert them in the form of domains, and primarily from the orientation in which the data is coming, you move it from the low-lying part of cybercrime, which is of course affecting in huge numbers. You are moving into what is called as a very high level of cyber warfare activities, where you are, and including the cyber espionage, where you are looking into state actors primarily working at the behest of, with certain political intents in the mind, so as to extract out information, so as to disrupt your critical information infrastructure. And in between this, you have what is called as cyber terrorism, or I would rather use the word information-enabled terrorism, where essentially the same digital media is being used by various non-state actors, by various terrorist organizations, so as to do their job. So that's the overall landscape. If you look into the cyber warfare aspect, you need to look into the aspect that things have moved to not just extracting out information, or typically what we call as cyber espionage. Probably your phone's getting hacked, or probably your emails getting hacked, corporate espionage, and so on. But things have moved into what is called as a kinetic space. Utilization of cyber threats so as to have physical effect. Why? Because most of our systems have now become cyber-physical systems. You have physical systems that are directly connected with the cyber systems, or operational technologies directly connected to the cyber technologies, and that has what is called as a physical relevance. That has changed the paradigm. The new threats that are emerging into the current day scenario has moved. If you see in the cybercrime, of course, at the low lying, gone are the days when phishing or phone phishing was one of the very important, talk of the town. Because many a times, if you see this informationization, people are becoming more and more aware. They know the fact that you need not to share your OTP with somebody, pretending to be a phone phishing guy saying that I am from a bank or something. They are not. But what has happened is the techniques in which the cyber criminals are now operating has also changed. So they are no longer depending upon the normal call centers and so on. You are moving into new set of threats. The most imminent of that is the ransomware, if we are talking about the corporate part. So typically, if you see the ransomware, and there are multiple incidents that happened. For example, Ames was the most recent one. Of course, recently the ICMR data breach, that was the COVID data and so on. That's another part. So what exactly the ransomware threats are doing into? Most of the people, whenever they are extracting out information, typically the state actors, they utilize, or the criminal aspects, they take the data, they ask you like a normal ransom, please give us this much money. If you don't give us, this much money, we'll release your data. If you don't agree to it, they'll release the data, they'll try to sell it out in the underground. If it doesn't work, they will send a ransomware which will encrypt out most of your digital storage information, and then another second tier of ransom happens that give us money, else your systems will not work. And this particular aspect is not now case-to-case basis. If you see globally, the other day, we were at the ransomware summit in Washington, and what we were seeing, groups like Hive, groups like Logbit, they have changed the way in which things operate. Ransomware as a service. So there is one end that provides you a service. These are developers, these are the technical guys or the techies that create the ransomware, but they are not the ones who use the ransomware. These services are hired and utilized by cyber criminals. They actually do and operate upon the threat actors, and then the extortionist is a separate wing that operates upon so as to extract out money. And this whole network beautifully runs. It's a very well-oiled system, much more coordinated, much more cooperative, and the results are there. Ransomware becoming one of the most important threats that we are facing. But if you look at the other important aspect and the important part of the summit is the cloud security. Now we are talking about digitization and informationization. One aspect I definitely want the audience to look into the future. What is the future we are relying on? The fundamental tenets of cybersecurity relies on cryptography or confidentiality. Most of your classical crypto systems, if you see 5 years from now, the moment quantum computing comes into the play, they will be irrelevant, literally irrelevant. You have AES, you have triple DES, Rendell algorithm, RSA, and so on. Most of our BFSI sector, most of our transactions are happening on these classical crypto systems. But the moment we are moving into the quantum space, and trust me, it's not something that's going to happen 10 years from now, it's already happening. There are countries which already are into the quantum computing paradigms. Their systems are almost attuned to 128 qubit based systems. So what happens? Essentially, your classical crypto systems are rendered useless. Are we thinking about it or not? That's a question we need to think about. Are we thinking about, there are aspects such as what is called as PQC or post-quantum cryptography, or what we call as quantum resistant cryptography. That's something probably we need to think right now, because by the time we need to migrate our systems, because that always happens, we are always caught behind time. So that's one aspect we need to look into. Another aspect, if from the cybersecurity point of view, and that's again the futuristic aspect, we are relying on AI phenomenally. If you see everyone, in fact, the starting talk itself, in the welcome address itself, the relevance of AI was being discussed about. Big data analytics and AI models, AI-based systems, and so on. But when you are looking into AI, we need to, again, as a future, what we need to look into. And that is where India has, we should always capitalize the opportunities that are provided as the mind gap. In AI, the future opportunities are generative AI. But at the same time, the biggest threat to AI is the adversarial AI. Are we doing something about it? That's a question we need to ask as a decision makers, as a policy makers, that if we are talking about AI, what are the mechanisms through which the policy interventions that should be there, the technological interventions that should be there in order to control and so as to ethicalize the generative AI? That's one aspect. and how to counter what is called as adversarial AI. And trust me, adversarial AI has serious implications in terms of the systems, because what we are doing right now in the, jingo race of, creating AI-based system is that almost every system is getting into AI-enabled mode. But if we are going into AI-enabled mode, we need to understand what are the threats that will come. And these are the threats. I'm not talking something hypothetical. There are already adversarial AI-based threat attack vectors that are existing right now. The most recent was probably, fooling a facial recognition system. In fact, most of the facial recognition systems are primarily based on AI applications, some on machine learning and some on the deep learning aspects into it. But adversarial AI actually, bypassed most of the facial recognition system. That was one of the proof of the case. So this is just one of the aspects. But are we looking at these aspects? That's the question. That's the important question that we need to answer into. Now, moving from classical, the fundamental tenets of cryptography to fundamental tenets of what we call as AI. Now, let's move to another fundamental tenet, and that's the computing or the cloud computing, and of course the cloud. So, if cloud, the way in which everything is moving into the cloud, I'm really glad that one of the important things that was spoken about was the DPDP bill. Now, DPDP bill, it changes the way in which we operate. Of course, most of the people that were compliant with the GDPR and so on, those compliances definitely add value to it, but the way in which fiduciaries are held liable for the data that they hold, that's another ball game. Have we worked our applications in terms of anonymization of data when it is at storage? That's a question we need to think into. What are our policies for anonymization? What are our policies for aggregation? What are our policies for the storage as well as dissemination? But most important, what we tend to forget, what are our policies or the liabilities in case of a data breach? That's a fundamental question that we need to address when we are talking about DPDP. And that's another aspect we need to look into. From technology point, we are talking about cloud. If we need to go in the future of technology of cloud, and I believe that again, there is a whole lot of space where Indian startup ecosystem can work into it. Of course, right from PQC, right from adversarial AI, right, or generative AI, right from these DPDP aspects and so on. The next aspect is the way in which cloud itself is evolving. We always, whenever we talk about cloud, and sometimes, many times, whenever I talk to various experts in the cloud space, the things always revolve around the discussions around Kubernetes and Dockers, and that's it. That's the epitome of that discussion, and the discussion ends. But are we really looking into how the cloud as a service is moving out? You are working on new technologies called as unikernel. How many of us are even working, leave alone, have heard of unikernels? And that's the future of cloud. These are the things that we need to look into. Whenever summits like these happen, it always tends us to look into the aspects that we need to prepare for the future. We need to have policies and plans in order to be ready, right from the technology space to address to the future, right from the policy space to address to the future, and most importantly, creation of an ecosystem that is valid, that is robust, and that is energetic enough that it churns out these startups, which are the fundamental building block of any society. Cyberspace is evolving. There are two aspects, that is the threats, but I also look at the fact that every threat is an opportunity. The only way is how we see at those threats, because these threats emanate out of the gaps, and each gap is an opportunity to be filled. Whether we look into the opportunity aspect of it or whether we crib about the threat, that is something that I leave to you all. It was indeed a pleasure talking to you all, but definitely as a decision makers, as future technologists, as the future companies that are there, we need to look into these particular next generation technologies. Digitization is happening, cloud and all these technologies are the means to it. They are the means right now, and they will evolve further. But the way in which we embrace it, embrace this technology, that's one thing that would define how we're going to be taking this country. We are already crossed the 4 trillion mark. Very soon, the next year, I'm pretty sure we will reach the 5 trillion goal that would be there. But one of the key drivers for it is going to be the digital space. And that's where I request you all, let's join hands. Let's look into these opportunities, these gaps. Please don't think them to be the threats. If I'm talking about your classical crypto system becoming invalid in the quantum era, look it as an opportunity. You have to create what is called as quantum resistant cryptography. So what does that provide you? That provide you a huge market of classical AES or RSA based crypto system based security systems that are there. That provides you a new opportunity. Look into the aspects of that aspect, and definitely, the way in which we perceive things in the future, they always provide us opportunities to work on. Thank you very much. It was indeed a pleasure talking to you all. Jai Hind.
This round of applause actually indicates how informative it was and how enlightening it was for all of us, your speech. You talked about various aspects of the technology, futuristic technology, adversarial AI, or cloud quantum ecosystem, and how to see the gaps or the challenges and opportunity to take us to the next level and transform ourselves in the digital world. Thank you so much, Mr. Amit Sharma, for your insights. With this, I'd like to invite Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police, to deliver his keynote address. A huge round of applause for him, please.
Shri Nikunj Srivastava ji, Shri Amit Sharma ji, Abhijit ji, all ACPC team, and all present persons from different corporates, universities, and other areas. Today, I have been called here to say something. So I was wondering how to start. Then I thought that before coming into IPS, I was working in Unit Trust of India and LIC as staff officer and administrative officer. Those were the times when employees were protesting against computerization. They were fighting against use of computer in place of normal books, and they had the fear that this will cost their jobs. Then I joined UTI. I was looking after few schemes which were very popular at that time, like monthly income scheme, unit-linked insurance policy, or master share that was started during the chairmanship of late Mr. M.J. Fairwani. Then I joined IPS and studied IPC, Indian Penal Code. In Indian Penal Code, we had 3 relevant sections of chori, then housebreaking. Housebreaking means you break the door, then enter and steal. Then loot and dacoity with force. During continuous in my career, I happened to be posted as DIG Economic Offenses, which included cybercrime. There I found Harshad Mehta scams were being investigated. We found many vanishing companies which came with IPO and they left with the money. Then we found many attractive investor schemes which what they promised never realized, and people used to come to the police department to get their money returned. At that time, cyber cell which we had started in Gujarat, we didn't have any person who will handle. FSL was there, Forensic Science Laboratory of Gujarat was there. But we didn't have any solutions. So problems were there even at that time, but police was unable to satisfy the expectation of the general public. I think even today, in spite of all modernization, all computers, internet, or digital format of our processes, still people are having the same question. They are not satisfied. Their money is being still stored. Maybe debit card or credit card crime, maybe some other way. Now, the important thing is data. There is a data theft. So the feeling of that कि चोरी हो रही है हमारे यहाँ, पैसे की हो या डेटा की हो, जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, उसका सॉल्यूशन क्या है? I think this is what we have to discuss here. I am in police department. I am supposed to look after now police reforms. Now police reform is such a wide and vague subject. It is difficult to decide what is reforms, which thing is reform, which activity is reform. So to achieve this thing, Gujarat government had established a society under Society Registration Act. It is named Suraksha Setu Society. About 11 years back, the main aim of this society was to interact with people like you, interact with banks, with corporates, with volunteers, with good wishers who can help police department in preventing their whatever we say, chori ho, data ho, or whatever they come for investigation of many things, और इवन मिसिंग बच्चे हैं, इन सब चीज़ में आजकल नारकोटिक्स की काफ़ी जो डिलीवरी होती है, वी सी दैट यूज ऑफ इंटरनेट, वेरियस मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन, वेरियस पोर्टल्स in the guise of some other business portals is being done. So we have tried to see that problems of the public are resolved. And I think today all the stakeholders who have come here, I had visited the stalls of few companies which are there. They are providing solutions. Solutions to company to have a system to ensure that there is no data theft, there is no irregularities. So I think as a police officer, my role is that when we deal with the public at large, so we deal with the different sectors involved in different manufacturing activities or services. We deal with the person who are affected by the health department. We deal with the public who are affected by the revenue department. We deal with the public who are affected by the municipalities. they have so many problems. The many police issues were basically or initially were non-policing issues, means they were related to the various other departments. But somehow, because we could not give them solution to their expectation, to their satisfaction, so they turn into the police issues. So this is what we have to see, that can we do predictive policing, predictive process to start from the beginning, that such things do not happen, so that we can serve the public in a better way. For business purpose, Gujarat is famous for Vibrant Gujarat. Vibrant Gujarat was started, and the first condition any investor put is that is law and order, peace is there or not. So I think ultimately, if we are able to satisfy the general public through policing, through innovative, latest technology and communication things, if we can satisfy the general public, so investor will come everywhere, and we will have a very meaningful and harmonious atmosphere where business of all who promise to provide solution will be there. And I think this is what I convey to all the stakeholders who are here, that you should work hard, get more business, provide more solution to the government departments and also police department, and see that ultimately we all live in peace. I think this is what I wanted to say. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ultimately, it's all comes to serving people and taking the benefits of government service, government services to the citizens, and especially in this digital age. And there again, threats of cyber security are there, and we all need to come together to tackle those challenges. Thank you so much, Sri Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police. And with this, we have come to the end of the inaugural session of National Cloud and Cyber Security Summit happening in Bhopal. We have a huge round of applause for all our eminent speakers in the inaugural session. I request Sangamitra Mohanty to come on stage and kindly hand over a small token of appreciation from our end to our eminent speakers. And as we always think that we should have the official inauguration of this wonderful conclave, and for that, anything good happens in this country, we should do it by lamp lighting. So can we request all of you to join us for the lamp lighting and officially inaugurate National Cloud and Cyber Security Summit happening in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. A huge round of applause for our eminent speakers, please. Thank you so much, all of you. That was the official inauguration of National Cloud and Cyber Security Summit, organized by APAC News Network and hosted by Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh and MPSeDC. Now I request Sangamita Mondi to come on stage and kindly hand over a small token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers who have joined us in the inaugural session. And to tell you that we are also live in LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, the inaugural session, and real-time tweets are also happening. Thank you so much. Let us first hand over the small token of appreciation to the program mentor of this event, Sri Nikunj Kumar Srivastav, Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh. A huge round of applause for him, please. To Sri Abhijit Agarwal, Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh State Electronics Development Corporation, who also happens to be the program chair of this prestigious conference. To Sri Amit Sharma, ADG and Advisor, Cyber Minister of Defense, Government of India. And to Sri Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Gujarat Police. Anilji. Thank you so much. Can you have a group photo of all the speakers together, please? I also request KL Meena sir, Aditya Singh sir, and Nikhil ji, if you can also join us for the group photo on stage, please. Thank you so much, all of you. Can you have a huge round of applause for eminent speakers from the state of Madhya Pradesh, from Government of India, and from the state of Gujarat. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. As we have said in the beginning, that aim of this conference is to bring synergy between government, enterprise, and industry. And for that, let us have an industry presentation by Mr. Chandrasekhar Gaur, Director Technical, Extronet Technology Private Limited. Can I invite Mr. Chandrasekhar to come on stage, please? A huge round of applause for him, please.